Hey, this is DV Felius. I'm going to show you super simple poker strategy. And I think you'll be surprised at how effective it is. So I'm playing 2 tables of 50 no limit. And it works off of just some basic rules. So here with the ace king, this is going to be a one and done. So basically, if you miss a flop, you just bet once and you don't need to keep bluffing. And you don't do any bluff catching. So I'll explain it as the hands go by. But the main driving force for every decision you make, excuse me, is how big of a pot does my hand want, right? So if we look at this last hand with the ace king, sorry, I don't have this whole thing in the picture viewer here. Obviously on the ace, we want a bigger pot. And we didn't bluff the turn there because we made our little one and done C bet. And we do bluff, but we only bluff in bet check bet lines. I'll explain that when we get to one. And let's say our opponent bets, we call, we have nothing on the next street. Then we make one bet, but only one bluff. No multi-street bluffing. And no bluff catching. Meaning if I can't beat some of the value bets in his range or any value, at least one value bet in his range or chop with a value bet, I'm not going to call. Right? So the number one thing is how big of a pot size do we want? As far as pre-flop goes, we do a lot of three betting, especially in position. So you could go like 5-4 suited, all your suited connectors, suited aces, pocket fives or better in position. And here we could say, how big of a pot do I want? I guess this is about as big as we want pre-flop. I don't think we want to three bet this against under the gun. And now we look, he's betting about 3/4 pot. Is the pot too big for our hand? Yes, it is, right? So if he were to check back, we could bluff the turn, right? Because he showed weakness on one street. Whenever they check a street, whether it's the turn or the flop or the river, they check to us. We can make our bluff. So basically a bluff, you only bluff in situations where they've shown weakness on a particular street. So like no big multi-street bluffs, no check raise flop, bet it down, bluff it down, bluff it off, etc. This strategy works surprisingly well for the low stakes because you're constantly making good use of your equity. You're not doing anything too fancy, but it just works. So here, obviously, ace jack is an open. we want a bigger pot. And if this guy 3-bet us, the pot's too big for our hand. Here, the pot's not too big for our hand, so we're not in bluffing mode. We could raise, we could call, right? The pot size is still appropriate. Here, I think it still is. It's not looking so great. So now if he makes a bet, we're just going to fold. We're not going to agonize over what he's doing or anything like that, because we do have a bluff catcher, right? He's not value betting worse for this size, so we just let him have it. Here the pot could get bigger. Top here. Now how much bigger of a pot do we really want? Not too big. So we could check, call a small bet, or just bet small ourselves. If he raises, we just fold because the pot's too big for our hand and it's not one of our bluffing spots. So here, I think we've reached pretty much the pot size we want with this hand. And if he bets a river, we just let him have it. He could be bluffing. We don't have to look at our blockers or anything like that. We're not bluff catching here. So yeah, just let him have it. Nice and simple. It's really like stress-free poker because you're not always thinking like, oh, what does this guy have? What are my blockers, my unblockers? Is this an over bluff line? You know, so it's, I'm not saying not to use that stuff. Obviously, we want a bigger pot with our hand here. With 3-bet. Nice and simple. The queen 4, we don't have to open the button. So when I say size of pot for your hand, so like if you have a weak hand, meaning like a hand that needs to bluff, the pot's already too big for your hand, so it's not going to be calling anything, but it has the option to bluff. But we're only going to bluff in bet check bet lines, or when we call a bet and our opponent checks the next street to us. They've shown weakness on a street, right? So in the bet check bet line, they didn't lead into us on the river, right? So they called the flop, the turn went check check, and they checked again to us on the river. That's showing weakness. Those are the easy bluff spots, so we would make a bluff there. No bluff raising, nothing fancy. And you use the strength of your hand to navigate to the size of the pot that you want. So that hand's obviously too weak. This hand we could isolate. I'm not thinking about what anybody has. Nothing. Like this guy has probably moved me off about 7 out of 10 pots. And I don't stress out about it. And multi-way, we're gonna be we're gonna be much tighter multi-way. So like let's say we had ace king here, we don't even make one bet. Here we just concede the pot unless we hit a 5. Well, we could say to ourselves, is this hand worth any more bets? How big of a pot does this hand want? And I think it could stand a small little bet. But that's it. Like the river, we're going to check fold. If this guy raises, we're going to fold. Because it's already too big for our hand, right? And we're not doing multi-street bluffs. Ace Jack was an easy open. King 9, you could open it. Could fold it. All right, so what size hand do we want with this pot? Yeah, we want a little bit more money to go in. Here we want some more money to go in. We could make a small bet here. This one you could check and call a small river bet. Or you could bet small again yourself. I think it's worth a small bet. But notice I'm not betting big because I have, my equity is not big, right? So I'm just tailoring the size of the pot to my hand. And it just works surprisingly well. Like there's better plays there. Like we could check back and say certain player types over bluff rivers, so I'm gonna move him into that line and let him over bluff the river, which is true. You know, if they're recreational, they're gonna over bluff the river there. But I'm just keeping it really simple right now. This hand I could squeeze, I could call. Generally out of position, I'm a little more tighter. And now the pot is too big for our hand. It's multi-way. So we're just going to give it up if somebody bets. Unless they bet like exactly 50 cents, then we could continue, but or something like that. But here the pot's too big for our hand and we're not going to check raise bluff, right? So we just let them have it. And plus we said multi-way, we need to play tighter. This hand's just too weak. This hand, if it was suited, we'd open it. Completely stress-free poker. Not thinking about what they have. Are they bluffing me? None of that stuff. So here it's multi-way. We're not even going to start with a bluff. Right? The pot's already too big for our hand. We're not doing any check raise bluffing. We don't have enough equity to call. I mean, technically we could, right? The ace high might be good. Still, we got the backdoor ace, but we're just going to keep it simple. I mean, backdoor diamonds. We got draws to the 9, draws to the ace, and the ace high itself might be good. It's a nice, easy sequence of events. And the money just comes to you because you're making better use of your equity than the other people are. Right, so here we could ISO, that's good enough. Cancel limp. Okay, here we could make our 1 c-bet. Remember c-bet? And if you raise this here, the pot can get bigger because we got implied odds and, of course, with our open-ender. So just because we have nothing, obviously, doesn't mean we're going to fold in that situation because we have enough equity to call bets. Here, obviously, we make the pot bigger. Is that too much for my hand in this situation? I think so, yes. I raised under the gun and it jammed all in. And we're not doing any bluff catching. It's close either way. Just let them have it. Jack 9, not quite good enough to open here. We didn't ham and haw and oh my god, what's he up to? Nothing. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get bluffed a lot. And it's okay. It's okay to just say to yourself, hey, I'm gonna get bluffed a lot. Because most of your money is gonna just come from your made hands, right? So here if he checks, we could bet. Here he bets. We're not doing any bluff raising. We don't have any equity to call. We'll just let him have it. And deuce, not good enough to open on the button. You need to know a little bit about poker to do the strategy, like your opening ranges, what to 3-bet. Here we could ISO or just fold. It's fine. Either way. Here this is too weak. Super simple strategy. Did I say to fold this before? I'm going to here because it's close and this guy is a little, he's sticky and doesn't give up easy after the flop. Nothing crazy. Like if this guy had a nut flush draw, just check call, turn goes check check, and just bluff the river. Because the opponent checked back a street. If the opponent goes bet bet, and he had a nut flush draw, just keep calling because you got the odds and the implied odds. This deuces you could raise or fold. In a tough game, you probably want to, with lots of 3-betting, you probably just want to just fold there. Okay, now this board's too connected, so I'm just going to give up on the hand. Right? If it was like a ace high, king high, dryer type board, then I would c-bet. Now we could turn our hand into a bluff because he showed weakness, right? But only one bluff, that's it. Just give up if he calls or raises. That's it. It's so simple. Your bluffs aren't going to work all the time, those little bluffs, but it's okay. They work more than they need to. Obviously, ace jack blind versus blind is strong, so we open it. Here's an example. Just make our one little bet because it's a disconnected type high board. He calls, and then we're done. We don't check call here. Just let him have it. This one we're going to 3-bet. And we're going to use the principle of how big of a pot do we want to navigate the hand. The second it starts getting out of control, we release the hand. That's definitely out of control, right? It's a little too weak to isolate there. Pocket threes, fine open in the cutoff. You know, just don't get emotionally involved. Don't get discouraged. Like this guy here, I mean, he's literally taken away every pot from me, right? But he's at it again. Now we introduce something else. High card is good for the pre-flop raiser. Low card is good for the caller. So we'll make a quote-unquote kind of a bluff over there. But we're out of bluffing bullets now. We're not doing the multi-street bluff thing. So I'm just going to concede the pot. And it's no problem because my hand is coming. Again, not against him, against somebody else. And we'll just check. If he checks here, we could make our one bluff. He doesn't, so we gotta fold. This guy's definitely on my left here. He's over bluffing. So if I wasn't playing this simple strategy, I would be doing something about it. But for now, I'm just gonna just play this strategy because I'm teaching it. If he 3-bets, we have enough equity to call. Especially blind versus blind. This is an easy open on the button. We get 3-bet, we could fold. Now, not good enough to 3-bet. 10-9 suited, maybe 10-8 suited would be a fine 3-bet. This one is okay. King 8, we could open on the button. One a little too weak for the cutoff. Now we're facing an open. It's not good enough to 3-bet. Like King 9 suited, we could make a 3-bet. King 9 off is going to be a easy defend here. We're not really doing any 3-bet bluffing. Right. So when I say 3-betting 6-7 suited or 5-4 suited, it's not really like a pure bluff, right? So here can we have the pot get any bigger? I don't think so. Maybe if we had king jack with a backdoor spade, maybe I could call a small bet and reach the appropriate pot size. Seven too weak. 7-4 is too weak. Ace-8 in the cutoff, a little bit too weak. It's not complicated at all. See, I've been suffering a little bit on this table because of this guy, but that's okay. That's just variance. I haven't hit anything here really to build a pot. I haven't had a good situation, but it'll come around. Ten six. We could probably defend this in the big blind. And obviously we're fine with the pot getting bigger. Here we make our one bluff and we're done. That's it. We check back the flop. Here, obviously, pocket ace, open raise. Can't do anything with the ace-7 off versus the cutoff. If we get 3-bet here and it's not huge, we can call or squeeze now. Your suited connectors and pocket pairs are price sensitive, so it's going to depend on how big they 3-bet you. Here we got a high board. We make our one bet, we're finished. If he continues, he gets to earn the pot. Jack 10, we're definitely going to play one way or another. Unless this guy 3-bets. We could call. He's from early position, so here we have enough equity to call a bet unless he makes a massive bet. Easy. Now we have equity to call a second if he bets. If he checks back, we bluff the river. That's it. He's gonna win. We could consider making like a small donk bet bluff on the river, but I haven't really developed that strategy, so. I don't want to give that advice. Notice we haven't had any big hands. We're not really losing too bad here. Here I think we're up just a little bit. Easy fold there. This is, let's see what happens. Easy open if it folds to me. We could 3-bet this. We could call. I don't like their stack is a little bit shorter. Given he's opening an early position, I'm just going to fold this. This is generally a fold. King 4 on the button, you could fold it. Offsuit. King Queen, we're definitely going to open. We could also 3-bet if somebody opens. Easy ISO. This one you can call or fold. Gonna fold. Might be a little too tight, but not really. People don't 3-bet out of the blinds as much as they should. If you look at Equilibrium pre-flop chart and GTO Wizard, you'll see they're not coming anywhere near that. The 3-bet frequency. This one's too weak. Too weak. We're not getting emotionally involved. We're not taking anything personally. Because everything's going to work out equity-wise in the end. You're just like a machine. You're picking your good spots, staying away from the jump. See, like this guy's been hitting everything, right? If I were to just fly off on tilt because I think he's bullying me around, you know, I'd lose money. But he's having to be hitting a lot of boards, right? He's running good. This is, we can't call this. Too weak. We don't even want to open this blind versus blind. It's too weak. Two tables is a little bit too slow, but that's what I had up running, so should be showing this with 4 tables, but that's okay. Hopefully I'm getting the concepts across. And this guy made a min open. I think this hand is probably barely good enough, given the price we're getting, to at least call. I mean, not really, but no big deal here or there. Now we got a gut shot. Unless he bets really big, we could call one. I think it's getting close here, right? I think it's getting close. This one I'm going to play a little bit tighter because we bet a little bit bigger. Ace 4 is too weak from the hijack. Maybe a few more minutes on the video. We'll call it even. I'll make another video. There's a little more to the strategy that we can add. And I'll cover that in a further video. The next one I'll make it 4 videos. I'm sorry, four tables. Definitely we're going to play the king queen suited. I mean, these guys are up to all sorts of shenanigans. Like this guy here, I think he's the best player on the whole site at this limit. He might not even be human. He could be a poker bot. Honestly. He's just like really good. And then here we could call this. Here we could 3-bet this. Here the pot's already too big for our hand. We're not going to check raise bluff. So we had weakness, so we make a one little bet. One bluff. That's it. If he calls, we're done, unless we hit a jack or an 8. And here we're done. Here we get to bet. So we're going to put this into the bet check bet line. We folded, and that's fine. Just make that little quarter to 1/3 pot c-bet. It's very effective. I mean, this is not usually how I play, right? I check raise flops. I bluff catch. I look for over bluff lines. I double barrel, I triple barrel, but I'm trying this strategy out, and so far it's been effective. Today it's made me almost $100. Just pretty good for $50 tables. Not saying that it's going to work every time like that, but it's low variance, and it seems I've played it a couple times, and it seems to be working just fine. Probably if I were to play higher, like 200 or higher, you'd get chewed up because it's too simple and exploitable, but here on these stakes, it's not doing too poorly. So here I got an 8. Is the pot too big for my hand? No, not yet. Definitely call. If he makes another really small bet, we could keep continuing because the pot's not Still commensurate it with my hand strength. If he makes a bigger bet, we just let him have it. So here we don't have to bluff, right? Because we have the 8. If we had nothing, we would bluff. We're just gonna check. If he bets here, we're going to fold. We have a little bit of equity. We might win a certain percentage of the time. So we're just gonna check. We could technically kind of turn this into a bluff because he did check a street, but we're just gonna take our showdown. There you go. We're navigating the hand to the pot size we want with the equity our hand has against our opponent's range. So here, obviously, we want a bigger pot. Here we don't versus a hijack. This 9-3 is just going to be a fold in any situation. Easy peasy. No bluff catching. Yeah, we could open this. It's a little too loose, but that's okay. You can't really go wrong opening the button with the very wide range. This one also could be considered too loose, but that's all right. All right. We're just going to keep following our rules. What pot size do we want? A little bit bigger, right? So we could check or we could bet. Call a turn bet if we check. Here we could bet small. And he raises. Can the pot get a little bit bigger? Yeah, I think so. See now if he bets, I'm just going to let him have it because the pot's going to be too big for our hand. Actually, with this small little bet, we could stand one more. And now if he bombs it or blasts, he gets the win. Now we just check back. Are we winning all the time? I don't think so, but he gets to have it. This one we could defend. See, this guy, he's very splashy and aggressive. And tricky trappy there. He checked the river. I don't know if he was afraid of the flush or he was getting tricky. There's no need to freak out. Like this guy, yeah, he's annoying me a little bit, but no need to overreact. Here we could just make our little bet. I wouldn't fault you for checking here because it's like really connected and we have no equity. But it is a couple high cards, so just go ahead and make your bet. If it was like 10-9-7, then I would check because the lower the board is, the better it is for the caller. But there, with that hand, we bet the flop. He called the turn. If it goes check, check, he checks to us on the river. We just throw out another bluff. This is too weak to open from early position. This we could call an open. We don't want to 3-bet this because of the gap. It was 5-4 suited. We could consider 3-betting. See this we can defend the big blind. We're calling. This will call if he opens. This will open if this guy doesn't. Well, here we have some equity in the form of a gut shot, so we could call 1-bet. I know the other hand I didn't do that, but here I have position. Makes it a little bit better. Let's see what he does here. So here we just check. We take our equity. If he bets here, I'm going to introduce, actually I'm going to introduce it now. If he bets really small, we can raise. So when they take discontinued lines, and they bet half pot or less, we could make a bluff raise. Here my hand is so low down on this board that I'm just going to bluff it. So this is, even though I got the 3, I consider this a bluff. I could check it down, but it's so low and so low down that the showdown value is not really good enough, so it's considered a bluffing candidate for me. If this guy 3-bets small, we could continue. If he 3-bets big, we could fold. This is nice and easy. Nothing crazy going on. Just a nice, simple strategy. This is an easy open on the button. See these guys with these color, this kind of like purplish, pinkish color or something like that. They're marked as like extremely aggressive. So notice this guy on the left, he's been card dead. He hasn't done anything to me. This guy's been playing back at me at every hand. Just variance, just the way stuff happens in poker. I haven't made anything worth playing back with against this guy. When that happens, you're gonna go down slow, but eventually something will come up. You'll make money. You know, obviously he's a fish, right? He's limping the button. This is an easy open. Just trust the process. Here we could make our small one and done bet. Unless we hit a jack or an ace. There's a jack. So the question is, how big of a pot do I want? Well, it's $3.47. We certainly want a bigger pot, right? Go ahead and put a little bet in there. We could overbet here. We could do whatever. If he check raises, we're folding because we don't play. Is he doing this with worse for value? Unlikely for this size, right? So we're not doing bluff catching here. Let's let him have it. Notice I didn't read his hand. I didn't ask how wide did he get to the turn. Does he have any bluff candidates? I just say to myself, do I have a bluff catcher? Yes, because is he raising anything worse than a jack for value for that size? Probably not. If he mini raised the turn, yeah, we'll call because he could be more merged. But when he took that size, he showed he's more polar. And since I only had a bluff catcher, I let him have it. Let's see if we get him one more hand where we see the flop, and then I'll call it a video because this is too slow and boring for you guys, but hopefully you got the concept. We'll get to one more flop and that's it. This guy's definitely a pain in the ass. He's over bluffing in a lot of different situations. That's it. We'll play this ace-4 and call it a night. This guy 3-bets or just fold. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you picked up some tips on this and understood the main thing, which is tailor the pot to your hand strength and sessions are gonna be pretty damn easy.